Being alone is powerful. It makes you realize that you need yourself more. We generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action. If you want to make the wrong decision, ask everyone. Don't look back. You are not going that way. If people took back the pain they caused you, you'd lose the strength you gained. Life will test you just before it blesses you. If you focus on the hurt, you will continue to suffer. If you focus on the lesson, you will continue to grow. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. You can either be a negative or positive person in life, but only one will get you somewhere. Never expose your next step. Just take the step. A fish with a closed mouth never gets caught. The people who say you can't and you won't are usually the ones scared that you will. Be careful how you talk to yourself because you are listening. Stop thinking you're doing it all wrong. Your path doesn't look like anybody else's because it can't, it shouldn't, and it won't. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet. The family you create is more important than the family you come from. The more you know yourself, the less you need others' approval. Just because the past didn't turn out like you wanted it to, doesn't mean your future can't be better than you ever imagined. Do not allow small minds to convince you that your dreams are too big. When you try to please everybody, you almost always please nobody. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just gotta find the ones worth suffering for. If you find yourself repeatedly questioning whether or not something is right for you, the answer is usually no. Accept both compliments and criticism. It takes both sun and rain for a tree to grow. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Don't let new wisdom lead you to condemn yourself over old struggles. Bad habits are like a comfortable bed, easy to get into, but hard to get out of. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take, the relationships we were too afraid to have, and the decisions we waited too long to make. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. By 3 lessons we may learn wisdom. First by reflection, which is noblest, second by imitation, which is the easiest, and third by experience, which is the bitterest. Don't let other people's opinions drown out your inner voice. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Respect yourself because people can see if you don't. It's impossible to make everyone happy, and trying to do so will only lead to frustration and disappointment. Stay away from people who can't see any wrong in their actions, but see every wrong in yours. Focus on the step in front of you and not the whole staircase. Be brave enough to be bad at something new. Your thoughts are like boomerangs. What you pass along to others is what will come back to you. Listen to the people who tell you what you don't want to hear. The longer you entertain what's not for you, the longer you postpone what is. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Don't depend too much on anyone in this world, because even your own shadow leaves you when you are in darkness. You can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. Excuses make today easy, a tomorrow harder. Discipline makes today hard, but tomorrow easier. If you are a giver, know your limits, because takers don't have any. If you don't clean up what's in your head, you'll drop what's in your hands. Never share your problems with friends before finding a solution, no matter how challenging it is. You don't have focus, not potential. You lack consistency, not skill. You lack strategy, not resources. You lack discipline, not capability. Your future is in your hands and the doubt is in your head. Everyone wants to skip struggle, not knowing that that's where character is built. Self-pity is dangerous. Stay away from it. Vision without execution is just a hallucination. Making too many efforts to forget someone is remembering them all the time. Never let a lack of support stop you from achieving your goal. Don't be afraid of losing people. Be afraid of losing yourself by trying to please everyone around you. Putting off until tomorrow is your weakness. Once you are mature, you will realize that silence is more powerful than proving your point. A lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect. Work for it more than you talk about it. Stop choosing what's not choosing you. Learn to be okay with not being invited, included, or considered. It won't happen overnight, but if you quit, it won't happen at all. Work at your job and make a living. Work on yourself and make a fortune. The hardest part is at the beginning of the journey. The rocket loses 90% of its fuel during takeoff. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Don't be upset by the result you didn't get from the work you didn't do. The journey of your success will always begin with the small step of taking a chance. Be alone until you're valued. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. The things you say about others say a lot about you. Don't be afraid to start over again. This time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. It's not the future that's hazy, it's your thoughts about it. Stop expecting life to be fair. Start expecting yourself to be a better player, capable of handling any situation. When you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch you. Embarrassment is the cost of entry. If you aren't willing to look like the foolish beginner, you'll never be the graceful master. You are responsible for your own happiness. If you expect others to make you happy, you will always be disappointed. You are right about all the things you think you need to do. Don't wait. Get started. Not everyone will make it to your future. Some people are passing through to teach you life lessons. Be a good person, but don't waste time proving it. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. Expect little from people, expect a lot from yourself. That's the secret of a happy life. You can often regret your words, but you will never regret your silence. Don't ever let the same people disappoint you twice. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Try not to sacrifice your progress for the sake of a friend. They may not have done the same if the tables were turned. Today is the oldest you've ever been in your life, and the youngest you'll ever be again. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Private life always wins. Keep it secret till you win. Being alone is really better than being with fake people who pretend to love you. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. The more people let you down, the easier you'll get back up and realize that life doesn't stop for anyone. Sometimes you have to lose something good to gain something better. Be careful who you trust. Salt and sugar look the same. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. Most people stay in the same place for a reason. The things they hold dear are the anchor that holds them in place. You and yours before you are anyone else's. Sometimes you must go to war with yourself to fix yourself. You will never always be motivated, so you must learn to always be disciplined. The quickest way to succeed is to start now and figure it out as you go. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. You make the best decisions when in pain because fear of experiencing the same pain again is the strongest motivator. What we do during our working hours determines what we have. What we do in our leisure hours determines what we are. If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain how he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer someone else up. Grind like nobody has your back. Your life isn't yours if you always care what others think. You may not realize this, but the people you love are your biggest weaknesses. Set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. Once you realize your value, you will be greatly surprised at what you used to settle for. Don't tell anyone what you think or what you know. Keep your secrets to yourself, because a friend of today could be an enemy by tomorrow. If people treat you like an option, leave them like a choice. To reach somewhere, you need to leave something behind. It's best to leave things at the right time, otherwise you are left with too many regrets and complaints. Be impatient with actions, but patient with results. There's no limit to what you can achieve except that which you place in your mind. Distance yourself from people that bring out the person you're not trying to be anymore. Embrace solitude as a time for reflection and self-discovery. Forgive your old self, you've changed. Many of the people you told your secret to have already told it to others. Stop trying to skip the struggle. That's where the character is built. If you define the problem correctly, you almost have the solution. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. The true test of a man's character is what he does when no one is watching. You've got to do what's right for you, even if it hurts some people you love. When you're working for someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. You spend your first 20 years worrying about what people think about you. You spend your next 20 years swearing that you don't care what people think about you. You spend the next 20 years realizing that they aren't thinking about you. Stand up and face your fears, or they will defeat you. Sometimes loneliness is the price you pay for growth. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. Focus on making yourself better, not on thinking that you are better. Do what no one else can do, and you will become what no one else can become. Someone else's progress doesn't make yours any less. Not everyone you trust will be trustworthy. Comfort is the enemy of progress. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. The people who mind don't matter. The people who matter don't mind. You can accept the apology, but you have to remove the trust. You're very hard to control when you're healthy. You're very hard to manipulate when you're clear. You're very hard to influence when you're sovereign. It takes a long time to realize how truly miserable you are, and even longer to realize it doesn't have to be that way. Everyone you love in your life should be a safe space, not more stress that makes you worry or another battle you need to overcome. Your direction is more important than your speed. You may not lead a comfortable life with a single source of income. You need to build others. The walls you build to keep things out are also keeping things in. Have at least one person in your life who gives you honest opinions. Sometimes later becomes never. Do it now. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from making bad decisions. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but gets you nowhere. No work is beneath you. The only thing that should be beneath you is your big ego. Work hard in silence and show your skills at the job you get rather than criticizing the job. It's better to be alone than in bad company. If you do not make yourself indispensable, you will be unemployed soon. The secret to success is to do the common things uncommonly well. Time is your most valuable resource. There are no refunds or second chances for the time you waste. In most instances, obstacles are the way. You are more defined by what comes out of your mouth than what goes in it. Speech gives us the power to create or destroy. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Where fear ends, the strength begins. The first step to getting anywhere is deciding you're not willing to stay where you are. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goals. Betrayal never comes from your enemies. You will never remember the days and nights you stay home and do nothing. If you stopped seeing the world in terms of what you like and what you dislike and saw things for what they truly are in themselves, you would find a great deal more peace in your life. There is no perfect time. You must take the time you have and make it perfect. The best thing about hard times is that you get to see everyone's true colors. What the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Always take responsibility for your actions, for it is the mark of a mature individual. Your goals are the compass that guides you through the storm of life. If you don't value your time, neither will others. No relationship is worth damaging your mental health. Spend time with the elderly. Their wisdom and experiences are invaluable. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall, even if you have caught many from falling. There are times when you see someone for the last time and don't even realize it. Watch out, you'll never know the true value of the moment until it becomes a memory. Just because a thought got your attention doesn't mean it deserves your attention. Be around people who feed your soul, not eat it. If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. The key to happiness is letting each situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be. When writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. There are two paths you can go by, but in the long run there's still time to change the road you're on. Don't see anyone as your competition. You don't have the same goals, ambition, or brains. You're not the same. If you stay positive in a negative situation, you win. The heaviest burden we carry is the weight of our expectations. Learn to handle rejection gracefully. It's a part of life. There is no other quality so essential to success of any kind as the quality of perseverance. It overcomes almost everything, even nature. Do not let the things that have hurt you turn you into a person you are not. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. The secret of achievement is to hold a picture of a successful outcome in your mind. Count your blessings, not your problems. Be proud of how hard you are trying. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. If you need inspiration, don't do it. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Find something you love, something you can lean on to, something that would keep you going. You need something to fall back on when you get depressed. Accept that you are not important to some people and move on. Every time when you are rejected for something good, you are redirected to something better. On the other side of a storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. Remember, some of the best times of your life haven't even happened yet. Take some time today to recognize where you are right now and how hard you've worked to get there, even if you're not exactly where you dream to be just yet. Life lessons won't work unless you do. Don't change yourself just to make someone happy, unless that someone is you. The longer you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. They're behind you for a reason. There are no missed opportunities. Everything you missed wasn't yours. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes sacrifice. Your life isn't yours if you constantly care about what others think. Sometimes you need to burn bridges to stop yourself from crossing them again. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. Make sure the choices you make are worth the losses you'll take. Action breeds more clarity than thought, so you can't think your way into a new life, you have to act your way into one. You can make all the mistakes you want, just don't make the same one twice. It's okay if you don't know how to move on. Start with something easier, like not going back. Sometimes you just need to be a bit selfish. Put yourself first and think about what is best for you. Learn to see people for what they are, not what you want them to be. Be humble enough to know you aren't better than anyone, but wise enough to know that you're different than the rest. Until you become comfortable with being alone, you will never know if you're with someone out of love or out of loneliness. People don't decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. The faster you do the things you avoid, the faster you get the good things you want. Accept the things you cannot change, and change the things you cannot accept. The greatest challenge in life is discovering who you are. The second greatest is being happy with what you find. You think you know someone, but mostly you just know what you want to know. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. If nothing else, some people just teach you how not to be. You can't make anyone love you, and you can't force yourself to love anyone else. Don't burn your opportunities for temporary comfort. Confidence does not come from an expectation of success. It comes from a comfort with failure. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. We are the average of the people we spend time with. Surround yourself with good people to be a good person. Don't expect to see a change if you don't make one. People will walk in and out of your life, and those you least expect will become past remembrances of a temporary time you once thought was permanent. You train people how to treat you, unconsciously or not. The point of the argument is not to defeat each other, but to understand each other. If it scares you, it might be a good thing to try. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. There are no bad emotions, only bad reactions to them. You have to learn how to channel your negative emotions in a constructive way. People who show you new ways of thinking and new ways of seeing life are important. Your enemies will often tell you the truth because it hurts, and your friends will often lie because it doesn't. Develop a willingness to be disliked. This will grant you the freedom to do what needs to be done, even if it's unpopular. Be brave enough to say what you want to say, not what people want to hear. If someone's absence brings you peace, you won't lose anything. We often overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what is possible in 5. Your past or childhood may be messy, but it's a great force in your future. If it's out of your hands, it deserves freedom from your mind too. Don't be afraid to start over again. This time you are not starting from scratch, you are starting from experience. The more responsibility you take, the more you empower yourself to actually do something about that pain. Your friends and family do not always know what is best for you. Loneliness is the price you pay when you start to improve yourself. Don't take people for granted. You never know when they could be gone. You never know how much they mean to you until they're gone. Characterize people by their actions, and you will never be fooled by their words. When someone shows you their true colors, don't try and paint a different picture. If you want to feel motivated to do something, take the smallest action towards doing it. You will never remember the days and nights you stay home and do nothing. Hands that were on your shoulder during bad times are more valuable than the hands that clap for you on your success. Forgiving doesn't make the person who hurt you feel better. It makes you feel better. Accept things as they are. Life isn't about living in the past or living for the future. It's about living in the now. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. Learn to deal with people for who they are, not who you want to be. No matter how good you are, if you are in wrong place, you are worthless. Extraordinary results come from repeating ordinary actions over an inordinate amount of time. You can either choose a happy, conventional, and stress-free life, or you can choose a very interesting, but more difficult and meaningful life. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. When you blame someone else for your problems, you're giving them power over you. You're allowing them to define and dictate your happiness and well-being. People start hating you when they cannot control you. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. If you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to someone else, you have already forgotten your value. Leave when a promise turns into a sorry. You don't find your purpose somewhere else. You create your purpose exactly where you are, and you bear meaning to it. No single thing will solve all your problems, no goal, no achievement, no relationship. You will always feel mildly inadequate and somewhat dissatisfied with your life. A happy life is not a life without stress. It's a life of meaningful stress. You won't forget some bad things. You just stop caring. Until that happens, don't stress too much about it. It's never too late to do the thing you've always wanted to do. Don't let naysayers discourage you because they may be projecting their own insecurities. The more you love yourself, the more you'll detach yourself from things that don't love you. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. You can have results or excuses, not both. Growth happens when you start doing things that you're not qualified to do. Be smart enough to ask for advice, but be wise enough to know who to seek it from. With time, the more wins with fear you can accumulate, the more fearless you will become. Never make someone a priority who only makes you an option. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost. The only way to feel better about yourself is to do things worth feeling good about. A lot of things broke your heart but fixed your vision. Never deny yourself an experience just because it's unknown or uncomfortable. It may just be a defining and wonderful part of your life. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Your entire life can change in an instant. So instead of passively taking what you have for granted, be grateful for it and do whatever good you can with it. One of the most dangerous things you can do is believe someone's opinion about you. Your relationship with others is a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. Your tomorrow can be very different from today if you try. Keep thinking about what is not working today, and I promise you that your tomorrow won't either. It's not about having time, it's about making time. You can't always be nice. That's how people take advantage of you. Sometimes you have to set boundaries. Destroy the old you before it destroys you. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. Never be so loyal that you betray yourself. You cannot have everything. You always exchange something for something. Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. We are defined by what we give up, what we sacrifice, and what we reject. You are merely a reflection of the preferences and demands of the people around you. If you don't decide who you are, other people will decide for you. You grow as much as the amount of truth you're willing to accept about yourself without running away. There is always time. The only question is how long you will make excuses and pretend that it doesn't exist. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. The worst kind of enemies are those who pretend to be your friends. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Do not discuss your past with anyone because only you know its true story and significance. Others may not understand or even use it against you. Success and failure are fuzzy concepts that only exist in your mind before you do something, not after. The more grateful you are, the more beauty you will see all around you, the more generous life will seem, and the happier you will become. Sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you. If there's something you want to do in life, don't wait. If you do, you might find 5 years have passed without you doing anything. Most of your problems disappear once you start hanging out with smarter, more thoughtful people. Everything comes to you at the right time. Be patient and trust the process. You can't always help. Sometimes you will watch people you love make terrible decisions despite the advice you give them. Envy is a waste of time. You already have all you need. Sometimes the world is trying to tell you who you are, but if you don't stop to reflect and listen, you'll never be able to hear. Enjoy every bit of your life to the fullest. Your compromises and sacrifices will be rewarded. An apology without change is just a manipulation. You don't really know the person you're with until you move in together. Never marry anyone without living with them first. Hurting them back will not heal your pain. Someday you will look back and know exactly why it had to happen. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can always choose how you respond to it. Stop having relationship problems with people you are not in relationships with. Once you lose someone, it is never exactly the same person who comes back. If you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you'll never get it done. If you say you'll do something, do it. Your word is one of the most valuable things you can cultivate, and if your word ever loses that value, it will be hard to get it back. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. You might not enjoy discipline, but you'll enjoy the results. You won't always be able to help someone change for the better if you keep trying. There will come a day when you decide you can't do it anymore, and they clearly don't want to change. Just because you miss them doesn't mean you need them back in your life. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Be careful who you share your weaknesses with. Some people can't wait for the opportunity to use them against you. In solitude, the mind gains strength and learns to lean upon itself. Sooner or later, a person who wears two faces forgets which one is real. What you allow is what will continue. Your true friends become apparent when you're at your lowest. Live life the way you want to live it, because even people who care for you can't be with you every step of the way. You're going to make a lot of people mad doing what's right for you. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Potential means you haven't done anything yet. Maturing is realizing that overplaying your part in people's lives to prove your loyalty is only proving how much less you value yourself. Deal with people the way they deal with you. If you're lucky enough to get a second chance at something, don't waste it. Stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it. Real strength is letting people lose you instead of begging them to choose you. There's a reason why some people are not in your life anymore. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Most people are only nice when things don't matter. Never be so kind you forget to be clever, and never be so clever you forget to be kind. You'll be alone in the most difficult times of your life. These times will make you wise, mature, and fearless. Some people only care about you if you're doing something for them. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay around people who don't. The truth is that maturing is realizing that a relationship can always work out and always be fixed no matter the situation. One wrong step can change everything. Don't lie, don't cheat, be honest and be loyal. Never take someone's feelings for granted. You never know how much courage they took to share them. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You can't really control someone's loyalty towards you. You can do so much for someone and still not be treated well. If you blame it on someone else, don't expect it to get better. One day you'll have a clean, quiet house and a car with a spotless interior, and all you'll want is for the ones who made the mess to come home. Action proves who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Once you feel you are avoided by someone, never disturb them again. Be cautious with good deeds. Kindness has limits, and some may exploit your generosity. Your progress does not need to be seen or validated by others to be real. Expectation always hurts, so expect less or no expectation from others. You'll ruin your life trying to make everyone happy. The only time you should look into someone else's bowl is to make sure they have enough. Given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kind. Don't take criticism from anyone you would not take advice from. When you're working for someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own. A person who doesn't have a life of their own will always try to create drama in yours. You can't lose what you never had. You can't keep what's not yours, and you can't hold on to some things that don't want to stay. Life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. Most people will deceive you if you give them at least half a chance. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The people who mind don't matter. The people who matter don't mind. Believe half of what you see and don't believe anything you hear. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall, even if you have caught many from falling. You can be friends with people for years, and it could take years to realize they were never your friends. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Life may knock you down, but remember, you don't lose by falling, you lose by staying down. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but it's enough. The more you don't have sex, the less you want it. Not everyone is meant to be in your future. Some people are just passing through to teach you lessons in life.